Okay, so let's get started with this afternoon's program. It's now my pleasure to introduce our first presenter for the afternoon, Tatelyn Schultz. Tatelyn lives in Creston and attends Creston High School. She's the daughter of Emily and Kevin Schultz. The title of her project is The Endangered Youth.
Hello everyone. The spotted skunk, the poppy mallow, and the girl who made a couple of mistakes, who was then tossed to the side by society because of it. This is the minority that we are letting down. These groups are endangered, and no one seems to recognize it. I'm working to change that. I've created a project called the Endangered Youth. In this project, I've constructed a way for minors on probation to earn their community service hours through painting murals. By helping paint these murals, it will give them a sense of purpose in our community. I want them to realize, no matter their mistakes in the past, they are as important and valued as everyone else. Right now, these kids have two options. They go down a path of continuous mistakes, or realize their importance and value that they have in the community. By working on these murals, I believe that they realized their value. So for me, this project started back in January when I came across the Uncommon Student Award. I read the criteria and information, and I knew I wanted to apply. So I sat down and I thought about what's important to me and who do I want to help. I came up with art, the environment, and our minorities. So after putting a project idea together, I went to my art teacher, who is an active member in our community. I was hoping she would be able to guide me down a path, and she did. She helped me set up a meeting with City Council to ask for permission to paint 2 walls and also get some primer. Both of these were approved. In addition to that, our sergeant of the Creston Police Force also suggested that we apply for this Walmart grant he had heard of. We needed to write a project proposal and send it in. The grant was worth $2,500, and we received it. With that money, we were able to fund our 2 murals. These murals were the ones that featured endangered plants and animals located in Iowa. So this one is these are the spotted skunks, and those are sunflowers. And then this one is an underwater themed mural, and the picture's not totally done, but this is supposed to be an endangered turtle, and then we have some other amphibians that are also endangered. So after we received that Walmart grant, we decided to try to apply for more. And we did. We received funding from DCAT, the Iowa Art Council, Conover, and UCDA, totaling our funds for the project to more than $45,000. With a project that was supposed to be only 2 murals, we were able to expand it to 22 murals located in Creston, Iowa. After additional funds were given, I decided to expand the project and its ideas. So what started out to be just for endangered plants and animals, we expanded. We started bringing in other artists to work in our community and work with our community members. We also funded these artists for the work that they did, and that was really important because once the pandemic hit, a lot of them were out of work or weren't working as much. We were also able to get many students involved, and this was especially important after art camp was unfortunately canceled due to Corona. And although it's not the same as a typical art camp, it is a way to experience a new art media and different painting styles. So, and of course, we helped many minors on probation. Many of them got all of their hours complete, which resulted in ankle monitors off, curfews extended, and some even getting off probation. Many of these people even came back after all of their hours were complete. they wanted to continue to be part of this project. Every time they see those murals, they will remember that they were a part of something. They were a part of something that was valued in our community. Being able to leave a mark like that in my community was an amazing opportunity. The support and benefits of the project were overwhelming. Creating this project was one of the best things I've ever done. Thank you. And I also just wanted to go ahead and show you guys all of the murals that we went ahead and got done. So this one right here actually so we had these in Creston, Iowa is the town. And this one right here actually spells out Creston. There's the E and the S and O. So it was cool to bring in a lot of different art styles and teach these students just different ways to paint. All those. And then these bottom ones right here, this is a before picture of the wall, and this is after.
Wow.
So for this one, we were actually able to bring in an artist all the way from Miami, and she came to small town Creston, Iowa to come work with us, which was amazing. She had so much to offer and so many skills to teach us. So yeah, this was a great opportunity. Yes.
You said you opened it to the community. Is that going to help keep it going?
Yes, so I've already been looking at possibilities to continue this.
Mhm.
So it's getting colder, so it's not mural season anymore, unfortunately. But once it warms up, I want to get back in contact with DCAT, which is, they work with juveniles, it's correctional facility stuff, and they were a big part of our funding, so I'd like to see if they're interested in working with us again this following summer.
And you said you were going to add to the ones you've already completed, or?
Oh, yeah, like we'll create new murals, new mock-ups
Okay.
onto new walls and whatnot.
I'm sorry. Oh, is it difficult for young people on probation to find community service projects to do?
It's not necessarily difficult, but it's things like go clean the gym floor, go clean the bathroom stalls. It's nothing meaningful or anything that they're gonna do and actually value after they've done it. With these murals, I felt like they valued what they did. They can look at that and they can say, I did that piece of that art. So I think that made a difference for them.
Thanks.
Have you taken this to other surrounding county seat towns? I mean, where is that sort of straight north of you?
Yes, we actually took this one right here, we put in Lenox, Iowa, instead of Creston, Iowa, so we did kind of expand it. But other than that, they were all located in Creston. But that is a possibility for next summer maybe to expand that into different counties and different towns and whatnot.
I urge you to do it.
I think it'd be a great idea to.
There's a group of people in Winterset, and they're all about gardening.
Are they?
Yeah.
I'll have to look into them.
I can give you some contact information.
Okay, that sounds lovely.
I wanted to know if, so who came up with what you were gonna paint, like that rooster scene, for example, or?
So this was part of bringing in artists. They did the mock-ups. So most of the artists would come to Creston also. A couple of them just did mock-ups and sent them. But
So they did like an outline so that someone would know where
yeah,
to go?
so here's kind of how that process works. So say like with that rooster one, an artist created that, they drew it out, photoshopped it, whatnot, to make it look like that on their computer screen, and then they sent it to us, and we project that onto the wall and draw it all out. We just like with Sharpies, and then you go on and you paint it once it's bright enough too.
Did people start, I mean, when something like this happens, usually people come to see them. I would enjoy, did you get a lot of?
Yes, we got a lot of people who drove by. It was great. They all just told us they loved what we were doing. The feedback was really great. They all loved it. I see a lot more people walking around in these areas because a lot of where these murals were was located in our downtown area, where it's not the hot spot in town. But since these murals, I've seen a lot more activity, a lot more traffic down in that area, which I think is an awesome thing.
So all these locations were already there. At the very beginning, it almost looked like you put up a fence, but was the fence already there? One of the first ones? Yeah, those, for example. Were those walls already there?
Yes, the walls and the fence were already there. So the person behind that house, the reason why we went with sunflowers was because every summer he grows these big, beautiful sunflowers. So we wanted to incorporate that part of his home and his community into these murals. So we went with that, and this is us just priming that wall. So it was already there. This is a city-owned wall. So that's us priming, and then that is the final piece. And it says "Honor the Earth" right there. It's a little light, but.
Did you get any newspapers to cover this, or?
Oh yes, they came. I think for every single mural we did, they wrote one big article about my actual project, what I was doing, and then they'd come out, take pictures of all of the murals, and put them in the newspaper and whatnot. And we even got our local radio station. They also did a story about the project and also all the murals that were coming in the play this summer. Yes.
How did you find these artists?
So that was also a big part. My art teacher really helped me there. So she knows a lot of people. She has a lot of connections and whatnot. She brought in some former students to work on these. So that mock-up right there was done by a former Creston high school student. This one was, I think this one was too. So we had a lot of those students that she knew were majoring in art or had an art career, and we wanted to see if they'd want to come back and do something for their community. So that's kind of where we started, and then eventually we started making all these connections through these other artists, because these artists would come down and be like, oh yeah, I know this person and this person, get us in contact with them. So it all just kind of stemmed and whatnot.
You can go, Ken.
And you had write-ups in the Creston paper. Have you had write-ups in the Des Moines paper or any of those?
I don't believe so.
Well, that's too bad, because Creston is quite a colorful town now.
It is.
I think it could be a good destination.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've got a couple questions about the youth you worked with. One, how did you kind of recruit those youth to work with you? And two, how many youth ended up participating or in these artworks? So how many like unique individuals did you have come through?
So when you say the youth, do you mean like high school students or the minors on probation?
Yeah, mine is on probation. Is kind of what
Minors
I'm
on probation.
most interested in.
I am close with our Court Liaison of our high school, and she's the one who takes care of all the community service hours, documenting those down, getting those kids on that stuff. So before I even created this project, she was another person I went to. So I wanted to see if this would qualify for community service hours. And she loved the idea. She thought it was a great way to get these hours done, get them knocked out for them. So she just kind of brought in like whoever needed hours. She was like, this is what we're doing. If you want your hours, come, and a lot of them did.
Do you have a number of exactly how many?
Oh, yes. Well, it was kind of different every mural just because of availability, but we usually have at least 10 people on every mural.
Okay.
So, and it was different people too each time. Some of them were the same, some of them were different. So overall, we probably had about 50, I'd say, volunteers.
And that's 50 volunteers that were looking for those court hours?
Not just the court hours,
Okay.
sorry. For the court hours, that was about 10, 12 students.
Okay, out of the 50, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the little movement around Iowa, and probably other states, where people, you might say, it's public art,
Mm-hmm.
but it's on water towers, silos?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
That, I haven't seen that. Actually, this isn't related to my project, but I suppose it could be in the future. My art teacher, she's always coming up with mock-ups for the town, having these ideas for murals. And one of her ideas is to paint one of our silos in honor of the Native Americans that were there before us. So that is an idea for the future, definitely. But yes, we've considered doing those types too. It's just we had a lot of students, a lot of younger people, so it's kind of hard. If we were to paint a silo or something, it would be a little dangerous with all those minors.
Well, looks like you had lists, somebody
Oh yeah, I
gave,
mean yes,
rented
but
to your loan to you, so.
yeah,
you-
we did, but it's just kind of the difference between being up that high and being up like 10 feet higher than that, you know. I think it would freak a lot of kids out,
And the last one, no mention, is there not an art program at SWIC?
there is, but it's not much of an art program.
Did you reach out to that person?
I did not. I had no contact with her. I wasn't sure. I did, and I had a class with the art teacher at SWIC this year, and I was telling her about the murals, but she wasn't from here, so she didn't even know about them. She's from the Des Moines area, and that's the only art teacher we have
Damn
at
people in
SWIC.
Des Moines.
I know. Des Moines gets them all.
They'd be interested in what you're doing down there.
Yeah, I think possibly I could talk to her about once spring comes, if she's having a painting class, maybe they'd be interested in working on a mural or something.
I was talking about those damn people in Des Moines,
Oh, I'm sorry.
where I live, it's all right. And you ought to try, if you're interested, there's a man named Jeff Flynn,
Mhm.
and he is the director of the Des Moines Arts Center.
Oh, really?
He's very interested in public art. Public art is all over our country.
Yes.
It's getting a strong run these days. And it's the kind of project you could replicate it in every county seat town if
Exactly.
you want
This,
to
yes.
stick to that, but you,
Yeah, something I absolutely love about this project is just how it has the ability to continue and just keep on
And
evolving, because
are
we
you
can
for-
move locations.
it'll engage the public,
Yes.
all kinds of people. Are you familiar with the Federal Arts Project of the New Deal, 1930s? If you go to Osceola, okay, in their post office, there's a mural.
Okay.
Okay. And public art in the 1930s was all over,
Right.
but particularly in federal buildings. like post offices, libraries. So there's a long history of what you're doing.
Oh, yes, such.
Give you lots of good ideas.
Yes.
Do you think you could mentor some other county seats if they ask for help or learn about this project?
Oh, yes, definitely. I would love to help another group of people like I did in Creston, just in a different place. I would love to continue to spread this project and bring it to as many different places as I can.
Thank you. Seems like kind of a modest presentation.